Hello, my beautiful souls. So, I made this video. This is probably the third time now, and it seems to not have posted. So, I'm going to try it again to see if the message needs to get out. Anyway, giving birth. So, this card has two meanings for me, a physical and a spiritual aspect. On the spiritual side, I will say that is in connection with manifestations and law of attraction. So, for years, I thought I couldn't have kids, physical children. Yet, I'm very maternal, very nurturing, very loving. I was in the restaurant industry for over 20 years, and I was mommy at work. I was everyone's mommy. I knew everyone's name, the kids' names, what was going on with them, who was sick, who was in the hospital, who was home, how they were doing in school, and on and on and on. When I was also in a very unhealthy relationship for 10 years. Miscarriage. So I thought, hey, I'm just one of those people that can't have kids, which, saddened me a lot because I'm very mothering. And that was the one thing I had always wanted. Like, I really wanted to be a mom. I just love me some babies. So when I met my children's father, I told him immediately, like, hey, just putting this out there for the record, in case we get serious, I may not be able to have kids. Like, I don't think I can have kids. And he's like, why do you feel that way? And I'm like, I was in this relationship 10 years, kept having miscarriages, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, maybe his genes are weak. Maybe it's just him. I laughed, but I didn't want to get my hopes up again. But I had, like, a glimmer of hope, like a little bit. That mustard seed of faith that they talk about in the Bible, that's what I had. It was probably that small, a mustard seed. But I didn't think too much of it. Lo and behold, very shortly after us meeting, I got pregnant. Scared the life out of me. Scared the whole pregnancy, but I got pregnant. And I realized I had stopped talking myself out of my blessing. Like, whenever I would speak about kids or babies, I'd be like, I can't have kids. And the universe, being as benevolent and loving as she is, was like, you can't have kids? Okay, well, that's what you're saying, so that's what you're going to get. When I stopped talking myself out of the blessing, not that I talked myself into the blessing, I just stopped talking myself out of the blessing, I received the blessing. Shortly after I met their father, we got pregnant. I had my son. 16 months later, I had my daughter. Which brings me to the physical side of this card. When I was pregnant with my daughter, which she and my son are only 16 months apart, the doctors put me through hell my entire pregnancy. Oh, you got pregnant too quick. Oh, that's really dangerous. Oh, you're going to have a C-section. Oh, this, oh, that, oh, this, oh, that. Like, they just had, I was back and forth with the doctor all the time with her. Meanwhile, and I have a toddler, right? So I just wasn't paying them any mind. I'm like, I'm not having a C-section. I don't have time for that. I got a toddler at home. I don't have time to be out of commission when I got a baby to take care of. And they're like, oh, well, this is what has to happen. You're going to have a C-section. They would always be like, oh, we think this is wrong and this is wrong and this is wrong. And I come in for a follow-up appointment and they couldn't find anything. And this kept happening my entire pregnancy, right? And I kept being like, I pray and I have a really strong relationship with God. And I'm telling you, I'm not having a C-section. Everything is going to be fine. Stop stressing me out. Like, you guys are stressing me during the pregnancy. You want me to be relaxed and chill, but you're getting on my nerves. So, back and forth, on and on. Up until the week before I had my daughter. She was actually due the 21st, and she was born on the 12th. My last doctor's appointment before she was born, they were like, go schedule your C-section. And I'm like, there's no point, because I'm not having a C-section. I'm going to push her out like I pushed my son out. oh, you need to schedule it anyway. They weren't in agreement with me. They definitely weren't holding the space, I should say. And they're like, well, we hope you're right. And I'm like, I know I'm right. Like, I know God. I know I'm right. I know that I'm not having a C-section. I know I don't have time for that. And I know that I'm not with it. Like, it's just not an option for me. But I was following directions. I was trying to be obedient. Went, scheduled the C-section. Told the woman while I was scheduling the C-section, hey, you should double book this appointment because I won't be here for this. Everyone just brushed me off. They laughed, rolled their eyes, whatever. Like I said, my daughter was doing the 21st. And I was like, I'll probably have the baby this weekend. They're like, oh, I was like, I'm not going to make it to that appointment. I'm not going to make it to the next doctor's appointment. I'm already telling you that that's not what's going to happen. So what happens? We have a major snowstorm here in New York. Next thing you know, I go into labor because my daughter needed to make a special entrance. I go to the hospital. The doctor's like, oh, well, you'll probably be in labor soon, but doesn't, probably not yet. And I'm like, I have a 16-month-old at home. I literally just did this. I know what it feels like when I'm in labor. I'm in labor. Oh, well, go home, maybe sometime this weekend. Okay, go home. I'm in excruciating pain. My son's up. He starts crying, so I try to put him to sleep. He's crying. I'm crying because I'm in labor, right? I'm in excruciating pain, trying to rock him back to sleep. I go take a shower. I get dressed. I'm dying, right? Like, my body is just, it's, if you ever had contractions, you know what I'm talking about. Or severe cramps. I tell my mother I'm crying, she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm in labor, I'm not hysterical, but I just can't stop myself from crying because I'm in so much pain. So I'm like, I'm going back to the hospital, put the baby to sleep. And she's like, why'd you come home? I'm like, they sent me home because they didn't believe that I was in labor, but I'm going to go back to the hospital. Go back to the hospital. As soon as I get up the elevator, the doctor's like, so you want your epidural? I was like, right, because you shouldn't have sent me home to begin with because like I told you, I'm in labor. It only took as long as it did for me to have my daughter because they were trying to wait for the epidural to kick in because once I started pushing, she came out in like 5 seconds. So quick that the doctor was like, you should give a class on how to give birth. And I was like, you should pay attention when a woman tells you that she's in labor. Boom, boom. So, long story short, giving birth physically or giving birth spiritually, in both scenarios, I stood my ground. I stood in my power. And I didn't let anyone deter me from my own thoughts and beliefs. With the idea of getting pregnant, I just stopped talking myself out of my blessing, which was huge because there's power in our words. Our words are extremely powerful. And when it came to physically give birth, I didn't let anyone tell me that I wasn't going to have my baby my way. It wasn't up to them. I decided it. So this card is beautiful to me because no, it's not necessarily talking about an actual physical, human child, although the picture is gorgeous, of her inside that beautiful, beautiful womb. It looks like all safe in her fetal position. But it's giving birth to anything, to an idea, to a thought, to how you're going to manifest and transmit your energies. We are co-creators with the Most High God. We think, and then we speak, and then it is. So what are you thinking about? What are you saying out loud? What are you telling people? Are you talking yourself out of your blessings? If you say, hey, God, I want $1 million, and then he sends an angel to give it to you, and then you go, you know what, but I probably don't deserve it, then he's got to be like, hey, hold up. Wait, listen to what they're saying. Pause. They want it, but they don't. They want it. Stop. Get off the fence. Stop teetering. What do you want to do? And this message, as much as for you as it is for me, I have to really kick myself on the behind sometimes. Stop talking yourself out of your blessings. We serve a loving, benevolent God who loves to bless his children. He loves to bless his children. So as much as we would like to blame him for all of our problems and woos and the things that haven't happened or prayers that have gone unanswered. It's not that the prayers are going unanswered. It's that we're talking ourselves out of the prayer. We ask and then we talk against it. We say it. And it's free will here, ladies and gentlemen. Free will. So if you say, hey, I want it, but I don't deserve it, then he's going to be like, oh, okay. Well, if you think you don't deserve it, then I guess I can't give it to you. Right? Is it God's fault that you don't think that you're worthy? Is it God's fault that you don't believe in that in which you've asked for? You got to take accountability for you. You got to own up to your desires, your dreams, your goals. Stand in your power. Stand in your yes, stand in your no. Stand for something. Stand for yourself. What do you want? Think about it. Say it, write it down. And then, check yourself. I deserve it. Why not me? I deserve it. He loves me as much as he loves anybody else. So I deserve it. And watch the good that I do with it. Because at the end of the day, it's got to be aligned with your highest good. It's got to be. If you want something just out of greed and spite to show off and to be nasty, check yourself. Check your soul self. There's a lot of things out here that can do good. And maybe your gift is just showing other people that, hey, it can be done. And sometimes that's enough. Anyway, I just wanted to give you this tidbit on giving birth. So have a blessed and prosperous day. Love you so much. Bye.